Wow, what a mess in Haiti. We thank our friends as the Matt Rivers, J Dog at ABC News. Hey, good Wednesday morning. Jack Heath, and of course, we're broadcasting across our region here in New England, and thousands of you are listening, streaming nationally each day. It's fun to see the numbers climb each week nationally now, well beyond this market of Manchester, Boston. And of course, hey Alexa, hey Google, play the Pulse of It. And I'm talking thousands. It's amazing to see, and I think it's part of the decline of the national TV media news these days. Who's watching it? Who can verify, if you will? We'll come back to that. Well, the clock could be ticking on TikTok. A vote today in the down in Congress. We'll talk about some of our national contributors. We're also going to get a live report from one of the fastest growing cities, second fastest growing city in the United States in Northport, Florida, the president of Welland Park. 25,000 new homes going in. It's a city. And a lot of people here in New Hampshire and Maine may not be aware of it, so we're having fun there. And before I begin, and I'm sure our first expert and contributor, Paul Steinhauser, reports nationally for Fox News and for us as well. Good morning, New Hampshire, the Pulse stage. It is J Dog's birthday. May not be as big of the story of Trump and Biden basically clinching their respective nominations. Here we go again, round two. It already started last Thursday night, in my humble opinion, the State of the Union. Here we go again, Biden, Trump. Steiny, it's J Dog's birthday. Is that on the White House press briefing notes this morning? Yep. Yeah. No, it's rather bizarre. It's interesting. And by the way, no labels. No way. I'm not seeing anything yet, Paul. And by the way, J Dog's grumpy. He's turning 41 today. If he doesn't mind me revealing that, and he's grumpy. I said, J Dog, you're half the age of the sitting president, and you know where you are. And he still says I'm grumpy. Hey, Steiny, what's that? Go. All right. You have so much energy. You're going to be running around at 95. All right. Thank you, Paul. All right, we're going to get into our newsmakers now, and thank you for her patience. It's been a while. Former U.S. Senator, Republican gubernatorial hopeful or candidate Kelly Ayotte joining us. Good morning, New Hampshire. The Pulse of an H out of the gate this morning. Good morning. How are you, Senator? Well, it's hard living with him. I got, and we'll still call you Senator out of respect, of course. But running for governor, and I guess it's been a little bit. And I think you got a not you got an endorsement today, and it's not necessarily from a political candidate or a former someone. It's actually from a group of folks, some hardworking folks. So, have any improvements been made? Some of the quotas, some of the things that are laid upon a commercial fisherman, it's tough enough. The profit margin, it's like a farmer, very hard to be in business. Has anything improved in their challenges other than Mother Nature trying to catch their lot? Kelly Ayotte, gubernatorial candidate, Republican, just had Chuck Morse on recently. And on the Democrat side, I want to ask you this. As you know, President Biden was in New Hampshire Tuesday afternoon. And leading up to that, for a preview of the Biden trip here, first time in 2 years, by the way. Thank you for writing me in, was one of his remarks. Um, Senator Shaheen was on the show at the end of last week, previewing the trip. But Tuesday morning, I want to ask you this question. Donna Susie, a leading state senator, Democrat from Manchester, the state's largest city, former Senate president, asked her one question, what the president would be talking about. He's talking about healthcare, Bidenomics, the economy. And I said, Senator, what do you think come this November coming up? I think it's going to be decided by independent voters. I think Biden was here because they know how close this general election is going to be with Trump, which is now officially underway as of today, if you will. And New Hampshire could matter with the four electoral college votes. And I said, Senator, what do you believe in November in New Hampshire with independent voters as well as Republican, Democrat, but independents? What are the two top issues? And she said the economy, kitchen table type economics, and abortion rights. Did not mention the border or immigration. And I asked her why that was, and does she think Republicans are making it more of an issue than it is with voters? Let me ask you, what are the two top issues as you run for governor? Kelly, you mentioned Lake and Riley. The president, when the State of the Union brought up her name, and I've talked extensively on the show about this particular crime because I think, sadly, there are other murders and attacks on women and children happening almost every day. It's sad, but this one really caught the eye of many people, and I think it should have. I think it should have for a lot of reasons. But the president correctly in his State of the Union referred to her alleged murderer who basically broke into the country through El Paso, Texas a year ago from Venezuela and has a criminal background and illegal a few times. And then since then, he's dialed it back saying he's sorry he used that term. And the alleged murder he should have used the term undocumented. What's wrong with calling an illegal migrant who allegedly murders a Dean's List nursing student an illegal? Mm-hmm. 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 When I asked Senator Susie just the big issues and abortion rights was there, and President Biden in New Hampshire on Tuesday, part of what he talked about, and you heard it in the State of the Union. So you already know going into this gubernatorial election, should you be the nominee? I mean, you and Chuck Morris, the main Republicans, there's other people running, and of course, Cindy Warmth and George Craig. You know it, you've seen it. There'll be millions, tens of millions of dollars in the governor's race, in my prediction in New Hampshire, on abortion right ads. And any Republican running, doesn't matter who they are, in my humble opinion, the ad's going to say that you favor an abortion ban. How are you going to respond with all that money spent on that issue, not on immigration, not on the border, maybe not on inflation, abortion rights, AI backs, the Sununu abortion ban. How do you respond? Hmm. Hmm. Right. Finally, Donald Trump, Joe Biden. Here we go again, round two, pretty much clinching the nominations for each major party today, yesterday, actually. So here we go. No big surprise, by the way. It's amazing, but it's no big surprise. You came out recently and endorsed Donald Trump, and your challenger, your main challenger, I believe, on the Republican side, Chuck Morris, did it back during the New Hampshire presidential primary. Do you believe Donald Trump's going to be successful, and can he win a general election against Joe Biden with independent voters? Hmm. Thanks for the time, Kelly Ayotte, gubernatorial candidate, Republican here in the Granite State. Thank you. All right, we'll come back. John Decker, on White House correspondent. A lot going on. President Biden hitting the road after that stadium. Of course, it was in New Hampshire just the other day. Back on the Pulse of a Nation moment. All right, a lot going on. Our own White House correspondent, John Decker, joining us. And, John, thanks for the patience with the last segment on some of our interviews. The president's hitting the road. We saw that Tuesday here in New Hampshire. Yeah, and John, you were steadfast months ago when I and some people questioned if Joe Biden was going to make it to the convention. The polls, as you know, going into the holidays, too old, too confused. I think a lot of that was the focus of the State of the Union Thursday night. And here he is. He's the nominee. I don't think anything changes. You were correct on that. And here we go, Donald Trump, round two. It's kind of surreal, isn't it? And John, I know it's premature because I really think, especially with independent voters, they really in New Hampshire and a lot of states, they really decide these things in a general election, not necessarily the Democrats, not necessarily Republicans or Trump voters. Here we go again. I think it really is going to come down to John, and I'm an issue type person. Is you saw Vladimir Putin? Of course, if you're an opponent of Putin's in that country, big difference is you wind up dead or in prison. But he's on his way to becoming president again, probably for the rest of our lifetime. Threatening they're ready for nuclear war. Don't step into Ukraine. So we have that situation. We have the tenuous situation between Israel and Hamas in the Middle East. So you got two wars. Inflation may be coming down, but people still talk about how much stuff costs. You have the border, and it seems that Democrats really want to talk about Bidenomics and the economy, inflation getting better, the economy getting better, and abortion rights. That's the if they had the ideal, those would be the two issues this, November. And Republicans, it seems, and Trump, it seems that the border and inflation, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? I think that's the feeling of this thing. And it really comes down to independent voters. They may not be enamored by either one of these choices. Do they vote issues or do they vote personality? All right, John Decker, our own White House correspondent. Thank you, John. Yeah, it's going to be a very interesting time. And I got to tell you, I think the real reason why Joe Biden was in New Hampshire Tuesday, the real reason, was really the how close the White House really sees this election. So, it's interesting with the issues. I I really, I still have to come back to national media and how they cover this stuff, how they frame this stuff. Let's talk about the border bill just for a moment. Let's presume you give a damn or a darn about the border, about illegal immigration. Let's just say you care about it a little bit or more. And Joe Biden now says he's not going to sign any executive orders, even though he signed a bunch to open up the border when he became president, because he could close this border in New York second. He wants Congress to act. Smart political move if you're a politician. And that's, by the way, in case you haven't checked, Joe Biden's entire life, he's a politician. So blame it on Republicans, blame it on Trump. Okay, great. But The national media is so clearly in the bag on this thing. They don't even have you done has anyone out there, if you're alone driving around, if you're listening on a desktop, and we have a ton of people are nationally, or an iPhone or Android, but however you're listening, AM and FM, our network of news talk stations, ask yourself this if you're just sitting there. Have you seen a story since this bill so-called got stalled in Congress and Trump pressured Republicans not to vote for? Have you seen one honest to goodness news story on what's in the bill? I ask, have you seen one story at the national level of what the HE double hockey sticks is in this bill? Has anyone seen a story on what's in the bill? Read it. Look it up yourself. It's a bad bill. I don't need Donald Trump to tell me that or pressure me to say that. It's a bad bill. Why on any given day or period do you need 4,800 people illegally crossing the border, or 8,500 in a few days at any one point, for the Homeland Security Secretary to act and to secure the border? What? That's almost 5,000 people. That's like five. That's a big number. Why is that number good? Who picks it? I think you don't need a number. Secure the damn border. Make it harder to cross. Make sure people coming across stay over in Mexico, because we can't handle. Look at Boston. Look at New York. It's a state of emergency. They can't handle the illegal migrants who are already here. Oh, I'm sorry, undocumented. They can't handle it. Why do you need a number that high? Just secure the damn border, Mr. President. You could do it in a New York second with your pen and an executive order. Secure the border. There's a number of ways you can do it. It's not complicated. Secure the border. One stroke of a pen. Have your chief of staff write it up. Here's a better one. I'll offer, in the day and age of not enough altruism or generosity, heck, I'll offer to draft the executive order myself. I'm not a bad writer. I've actually written a novel or two. I'll write it myself, and I'll email it to you encrypted, confidential only. No one has to know that I wrote it. I'll write the draft for you on the illegal, the border. I'll write for you what you could do as sitting president without Congress. Today, I could have it done during the show by noon, 2 or 3 paragraphs. As President of the United States, Commander-in-Chief, I hereby order my Homeland Security and the Border Patrol to secure the border by doing the following. Increase patrols in this area we're having, immediately no longer allow certain numbers in. Create checkpoints to send the people back across the border into Mexico. I mean, I can write this thing in a few paragraphs. It's not that hard. Also, increase temporary wall construction and continue building and complete walls in porous sections of the border. Sign it, President Joe Biden, March 13th, J-Dog's birthday. Put that in there just for fun. J-Dog's birthday, 2024. Signed, sealed, delivered. Hey, Alexa, hey, Google, play the Pulse of an H. Back in a moment with Graham, New Hampshire Journal. We have a buddy at J Dogs in the studio after Michael Graham, New Hampshire. By the way, Marga in Effingham, New Hampshire. Happy birthday, J Dog, from Marga. Veterans count. There you go, J Dog. Michael Graham, NH Journal, NewHampshireJournal.com, with looking at our federal congressional delegation on some matters, including the TikTok ban. Good morning, Michael. J Dog, are you an AARP member yet? Not yet. Yeah. Yeah, I just asked Kelly Ayotte, Republican gubernatorial candidate, uh, on all these issues. Break out the bubble wrap, by the way, all these terminology, because the fact is, it wasn't 300 years ago. A few years ago, within the last 10, 15 years, which in history is not a long time, we've gone from, in our nomenclature, if you will, we've gone everything from illegal alien, illegal immigrant, illegal migrant to now undocumented. I mean, what is the coolest term? Where's it going to wind up? It's like the Ouija board. Where's it going to wind up? So you, eh, Michael, quick question. You mentioned one of the reps from Egypt or something just a moment ago. Okay, so if someone comes here legally and they become an American citizen, like a couple of our listeners have sent it in, they talked about the process, they get naturalized, they go through the process legally. Do they get offered anything like freebies? Well, certainly the money's going to be spent is huge. Right. Yeah. All right, Michael Graham, NHL.com. Thank you, Michael. You know, I heard at the top of the show, right in the stuff of the Biden and Trump clinching their respective nominations as early as yesterday. It's going to be a long one. Buckle up, by the way. It's J Dog's birthday, so it is, and we have a good friend of his, a celebrity friend, not only musician in his own band, but Harrison from our own Wolf and WJYY on air side of things, and a good buddy of J Dog's. I call him Harry affectionately. Good morning, Harry. Good. You're not part of the royal family, are you? You're not that Harry, but you're his buddy. Yeah, no, you guys are good friends. You come in each day and visit. I call it studio visiting. It's why is he so like head down, not excited to say thank you for the birthday wishes. He's throwing stuff at me. He's snappy. He said he doesn't like 41. Oh. So have you seen the video we did in the before the show, Harry? Well, guess what? It's only been up there like less than 4 minutes. There's more than 100 views. People loving it. Yeah. Are you serious? No. Well, wait a minute. It's his birthday. Are you guys going to get that sourdough pizza that you like? What do you think? Uh oh. Uh oh. From who? Heath Cole? Oh, you're busy. Oh, I know. No, you do a ton of stuff. But I just want to know, have you tried that new Texas Roadhouse in the Capitol? You like it? What and Harrison does those. What's your most recent features? Yeah. What'd you get there? Oh, you got a steak at a Texas. Oh, that's a novel concept. Uh-huh. No, hold on. How do you get sweet potato and fries? Harrison, what any comments for your buddy on his birthday? I told him he's half the age of the president. He should be thrilled. I'm speechless, Harrison. What do you got? You guys are young. You have something planned. Are you guys going to his favorite Mexican restaurant tonight? Is that, by the way, politically inclusive? Can I say Mexican restaurant, or people are going to say upset with me? Well, I'm just curious. People don't know that. So what do you got? What do you have planned? He likes burritos and tacos on Tuesday or Wednesday. What about anyone out there that wants to take you out on a date? Can I throw it out to the listener line? 603-228-2080. So you want to take the dog out tonight for an early date? Give us a call, right? Why not field them? They used to have game shows where, what was it called? The dating game? Way back. No, the dating game. You'd have like a person sitting there and, huh? And then don't they have these like millionaire type bachelor shows? You'd be a great celebrity host. Harrison, but what has he got going on over there to his right? He looks like Steven Seagal in a martial arts movie. What has he got over there? All right. Thanks, Harrison. Appreciate you. Whatever you do, have fun. Make sure well, I don't know who picks up the bill. All right. By the way, this is fun. You want to have fun to show that we have great listeners out there? If someone wants to call ahead and order lunch for J Doc Harrison, hold on. What does he like around here in the capital? Does he likes his Sour Joe's pizza? Is that new? Constantine with a C pizza? If someone wants to call and order a large pizza for J Dog's birthday to Binny Media, Church Street, Concord. No, I already brought you a pork chop. I cooked it last night on the grill, and it was windy out. I was out there. I was out there with no shoes on and socks, cooking you a pork chop. By the way, Montreal spice steak sauce, spice, balsamic vinaigrette marinated. Yeah, balsamic vinaigrette marinated, dog. So, but you know what? If someone wants to call in right now, 603-228-2080 and order dog a present, a large pizza at noon, 603-228-2080. We'll give you the name of the pizza place. You just have to order it for the birthday present for the dog. What do you think, Harrison? Yeah, you want your hand will be slapped if you try and get a slice. All right, we're going to take a break. Happy birthday. Mess in Haiti. Hey, Google. Hey, Alexa, play the Pulse of an Age. Jack Heath, J-Dog on the boards back in a moment. I don't know if Harrison knows it, J-Dog, because you guys are younger and you're working hard to pay the bills. If we just did a YouTube channel beyond the show, which by the way, we do have a YouTube channel, StreamYard right now, the first hour, but streaming nationally. If we just had Harrison and you and me a little bit during the break, that's what we can call it. You know how many hundreds of thousands of people would watch this thing? Because during the break, it's hilarious. We can't broadcast half the stuff, the banter that you two go back and forth on. We should do it. It would be hilarious. It'd be like you're too young to remember Bob Jackman, LaValle Middleton Building Supply. He's still young and quite spry, but he and I remember it was called The Odd Couple with Felix and Oscar. Do you remember that show, Bob? That could be you, me, and Harry. sitting around like Murray playing cards at the table, and Felix is trying to vacuum, and Oscar's smoking a cigar. Anyway, Bob, we wanted a cameo. How did the Rochester Expo for contractors go yesterday afternoon? All kinds of contractors. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Awesome. Good turnout. Hmm. We, so you have another one tonight. You're like a musician, like a band traveling around. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, because I'll tell you, it's a lot of the people I know that do stuff and create stuff and build stuff, install stuff. Yeah, it's work, but life is work, and they are very gratified. And I'll tell you right now, someone I don't want to get onto this, but you and I have talked about this. Someone got this way wrong in public education a couple 20, 30 years ago, that if you build things and create things with your hands, it's somehow a bad thing. And I loved, I don't know if they still have it, but when I went to Spalding Regional High School, when I was doing my show years ago, and a financial service client, sponsor of ours, wanted us to see in Spalding over in Rochester, I guess, they had this incredible, what I'd call shops department, metalworking, metal making, wood, right in the high school. And I go, oh, it's so refreshing to see this, because you know what? No offense to a paralegal with artificial intelligence coming down the pike. Last time I checked, Bob, and AI is an interesting subject to look at. The last time I looked at, I don't think artificial intelligence is going to install that beautiful granite countertop or make the cabinets in your kitchen. Last time I checked, and the people that make and do this stuff are the millionaires next door with maybe not as much student loan debt as a lawyer. That's just what I notice. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, what a novel concept. They work extra hard, they get up early, they build something, they create something, and then they're blessed with having a hunting camp up north where they're up there doing stuff and fishing on the weekends because they know how to take care of it. They build it, they earned it, they have the wealth. And anyway, Bob, thank you. Good luck tonight in West Leb. All right, coming up. Top of the 10, by the way. Speaking of building, perfect segue. Bob and I don't even plan this. Perfect segue, Robert. We're going to hear from uh, Rick Severance, and he's the president of Welland Park. And if you want to look this up before we even go to the segment coming up, Welland, Wellen. J-Dog and I, you're a baseball fan, and we're broadcasting all over New England here. J-Dog, you love baseball, and right in the middle of Welland Park is the minor league home. I'm sorry, the major league home of the Atlanta Braves, and their spring training. Yeah, right in that complex. 25,000 new homes being built. I mean, that's a city here in New England. 25,000 homes, and people all over the country are finding it convenient. We're going to hear from the president of the whole thing, Welland Park. But if you want to look it up, when I first saw this, the development, I said, how many homes are going in here? And then you read about it. Northport, Florida, by the way, DK, Daniel knows from our heads up all our marketing promotions. His mom lives down there. DK just came back and he and I were talking about it. Northport, he sent me a link from like the Suncoast Times, second fastest growing city in America. Yeah, check it out. We're going to have the head of Welland Park on coming up in 10 o'clock. Then we'll get back to the news. Biden and Trump clinching their respective nominees. Here we go. Round two. Buckle up. Hey, Google. Hey, Alexa, play the pulse of an age. Jack Heath, happy birthday, dog. Back in a moment.